Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and we've got our first pre-match build up to the Premier League. The Premier League is back. Everton are back as well, and this is just a pre-match. Hopefully, we'll have some team news in the next 5 minutes, and we'll just delve into the squad selection, talk a little bit more about Southampton. Hello, Stephen Thomas. Nice to see you, mate. We're going to talk a little bit more about Southampton, the chances of the game, what we hope to see, because this is quite exciting. I know obviously this summer has been a tough summer for a lot of people. There's some stuff that we've had to jump over, but it's good to see football back. United are currently playing as well, and I think they're 4-1 up against Leeds, which is a really exciting game. And hopefully we can follow suit. I'm interested to see. There's a lot of curiosity. I'm looking at how we set up, how we play as a team, what the manager brings. It's all quite exciting. Obviously, you can't judge until you've seen them play. And it's just an exciting time. The Premier League's back. Everton are back. Whatever the feelings are on how you think the season will go, you can't help but get excited by it. And hopefully the team news will come out. I do think, saying that, we should. I've got positive hopes about the game. I think Southampton are a good team, but I think they're struggling in terms of depth. They've got rid of Vestergaard. Is it 5-1 now? Wow, Stephen Thomas, cheers for that. Let me know. Fred. Wow, Paul Pogba's got 4 assists in that game. That's incredible. Really is back on form. Get your score predictions for the Everton-Southampton game at Goodison. I think Everton will beat Southampton 4-0. Eugene McGeever, that's. I'm not going as bold as that, but I'm thinking like 2-0 to Everton. As much as I like Southampton and I do like them, I think they're a good side. They got good youth setup. Well, they had a good youth setup. I don't see as many young lads coming through now as there was, during the war. Prowse, Luke Shaw, sort of inburst of talent. But I really like Hassan Hutel as well. I think he's a good manager. I just think they lack depth. They've obviously lost Vestergaard, who's massive, and they've lost Danny Ings. His 12 goals last season. If you took that away, I think they'd be relegation candidates. So obviously taking away his goals, even if they get Adam Armstrong, I don't think Che Adams is the signing either to replace. So I think Southampton, unfortunately for their fans, are going to be in quite a struggle this season. Stephen Thomas has said 2-0 to the Blues as well. I hope so, mate. That's what I'm going for. I don't think we'll go as gung-ho attacking, just because I don't think that's necessarily the style we're going to go for this year. I think we're going to go for robust, hard-working, a bit industrial type of tactics, where you get a couple of goals and you most importantly grind out the victories, which you could argue is what we missed last season against the smaller teams, was getting the win and grinding them out. But I do think we should beat Southampton. I've got really high hopes, positive hopes, and hopefully I'd be interested to see who the team is as well, because obviously there's that apparently 5 players due to COVID aren't going to be in the squad. James Rodriguez and Moise Kean are 2 of the 5, so there's 3 left. I've heard rumours it's Godfrey as well, Andre Gomez, and I've heard Virginia. But I've also heard today that Virginia could be on his way out to, I think it's Benfica. So I don't know if he's actually got COVID or he's on his way out. With an option to buy as well, which is interesting because I actually think there's some sort of future in João Virginia. So it'd be interesting if he leaves, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. He might stay. They might not even be interested in his option to buy. But I quite like João Virginia. I think he's got a bit of potential about him. Looking at it, in the last 5 that we've got 2 wins and 3 losses in the last 5 matches. Oh, that's from friendlies. I'm just looking at the head-to-head now from us and Southampton, and we have a really good record over them. 8 wins, 4 draws. Southampton have 7 wins over us, which is, they're quite similar. So obviously they're only 1 behind us. But in the last 5 meetings, we've beat them. It's very even, actually. It's very even between us and Southampton. I just feel like they're gonna struggle this season. Semi-Chard Life, greetings, mate. Nice to see you. Yeah, I just feel like they're going to struggle, Southampton, and they're not a team I'd like to see struggle. But I feel like they could be one of the teams to go down this season, which is really sad, really, because I want Watford to go down. I think Norwich will go down, and I think this one other team I think will go down. I don't think Brentford go down, not just because of last night's performance. I think the way they play football will catch a lot of teams out. Arsenal were particularly poor, but I think they'll catch a couple of teams out with their pressing and their finishing. So I think they'll stay up. There's one more team, I can't remember off the top of my head who it was that I thought would go down. I think it is sadly Southampton. I think they're one of the ones I have to go down. We do have the team news though, which is great to see. I will try now to be fancy with the stream, and we should be able to see the team news now. So there you can see on my screen, as I should be sharing it with you, you've got Jordan Pickford in goal, Seamus Coleman, Holgate, Keane, Digne, Allen, Doucouré, Gray, Townsend, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. I assume that is going to be the 4-2-3-1, and he's going to play Gray in the hole, which, according to FootMob, is what we have. FootMob have got it down as a 4-2-3-1 with Townsend. I think they've got it horrifically wrong with FootMob. That's their probably lineup. They don't have it yet, which is fair enough. But yeah, as you can see there, guys, I'll zoom it in a bit bigger for you. That's the lineup right there. So what are your guys' thoughts on the lineup? I think it's relatively strong. I think Richarlison's going to be on the left. Gray will either be at the number 10 or on the right, and Townsend in the middle. But I think it's a strong squad for bear in mind COVID and all that. Allen and Doucouré as two centre mids is a great partnership. The bench looks a bit short, but we knew that would be an issue. Obviously, John Joe Kenny's there. We got Fabian Delph, Mina, Iwobi, Gordon, Davis, Branthwaite, and Broadhead. Broadhead, I'd be interested to see come on for the bench. Same with Gordon, just because Broadhead's had a good pre-season, and I like Anthony Gordon. I think there's a lot of potential in him there. FootMob have now updated as well, in case you were wondering, and they have gone sort of. Southampton do have Adam Armstrong up front. They have it as a 4-3-3, but again, I'm not fully believing that. We'll go on to FootMob though. I also think we can get a result with that starting 11. Yeah, Semi-Char, I agree, mate. I think it's a really, I think it's a good 11. I think this any Holgate's a concern. Is his head on straight? Can we reverse his poor play? I hope so. I mean, Holgate's been rumoured to go to Brighton, hasn't he? And apparently he's told, this is all rumours, speculation from sources, but apparently he's told his agent that's where he'd like to go. I can understand that. Graham Potter does very well with centre-backs. Look at Ben White. Watched him last night, and he's quite small, and I think Arsenal struggle with balls into the box. But he does very well at making centre-backs look good, so maybe he can sort of help Holgate out if he does go. If we keep him, if he can find that bit of form we know he can have, I'm happy to keep him. Stephen Thomas, apparently Godfrey is one of the 5 that is isolating due to COVID-19 reasons, hence why he's not in the squad today. I'm just going to share one more with you guys. It is from FootMob, which is a great app, by the way, if you don't use it. The stats they have on there is absolutely incredible. XG, the lot, anything. So you can see there, that's our lineup. I don't think they've got the formation right. I think it'll be a 4-2-3-1, and I think he will go here. But we'll look at Southampton's squad as well. Obviously, they've got Alex McCarthy, Livramento, Jack Stevens, Salisu, and Peroud. I'm not going to lie, their fullbacks not very well known. They've got Gineppo, Ward-Prowse, Romeu, former Everton player, like one of you guys mentioned in the stream. Former Everton player Theo Walcott. It was Eugene McGeever, which could come back to bite us. I don't think it will, but it's typical Everton if Theo Walcott scores a goal, isn't it? And then obviously Che Adams and Adam Armstrong. It's an okay squad. I think they miss Vestergaard massively still. And I think Adam Armstrong will need to adapt to the Premier League, and Che Adams, I don't see him as a danger man. I know this is where, you come back in 90 minutes and I'm proven wrong, but I just don't see him as a massive danger. Just because we watched him last season and he wasn't overly impressive for me, but I think Southampton's squad is considerably weak, and I think there's a good chance Walcott scores and I'll be upset. Right, Everton, that. Yes, I mean, it is so Everton to have Theo Walcott just burst through and slot it past Pickford. That would be it'd be infuriating. It would be infuriating, but hopefully the Goodison crowd and, obviously Rafa Benitez probably did watch a lot of Premier League last year. He knows Hasenhüttl's high pressing formation. Should be pretty averse to combat that. I mean, like I said, hopefully as well, a couple of the lads know Walcott very well and know his strengths and his weaknesses. I mentioned our bench. Southampton's doesn't terrify me. They have Mohamed El-Nisi, Nathan Teller, Ibrahim Diallo, Nathan Redmond, Stuart Armstrong, Jan Bednarak, Kyle Walker-Peters, and Jan Valerie, and Fraser Forster. So again, not a massive bench from them. No one on there that I fear coming on. It's not like United right now who are playing and Jadon Sancho's just chilling on their bench, or when you play City and they've got Aguero, Mahrez, a couple of other big names. Sterling, I think, was on the bench when we played them last season, and that was silly. Southampton don't have any players on that bench that I think would change the game massively. Eugene's put, I think DCL will get a hat-trick for Everton against Southampton at Goodison today. I hope so, mate. I really do hope so. I will say this, from what I've read about Benitez's styles of play, the 4-2-3-1, he does apparently seem to quite like wing play. And when you think about when he was at Newcastle, he had Solomon Rondon, and you could argue got quite good results out of Solomon Rondon. He is very much an aerial threat, and I think if you've put the formation and the tactics to suit that aerial threat, I think we will get the best out of DCL. Because when me and the two cows did stream the other day, somebody mentioned quite rightly that DCL does have his weaknesses, and one of them is his one-on-ones. I think his dribbling is slightly a weakness as well, but it's not a massive one. But his one-on-ones can be a bit inconsistent sometimes, but his aerial presence is so amazing that, the best way to play it for him is in the air, to be honest, because he leaps of essence of Ronaldo when he leaps over people's head. DCL leaps and he can, his knees are at someone's head. So I feel like if that's the way he's going to set it up, where we're playing balls into the box, and we've got a lot of good deliveries. We've got Luca Dean, Seamus Coleman, I still believe is capable of putting in a decent cross. Andros Townsend, I know he cuts inside, but I think he's got the ability to put in a good cross. And Richarlison now and then can put in one. Damari Gray is yet to be seen. I'm excited to see Damari Gray play, by the way, just because Townsend we've seen at Palace. We sort of know what we're getting with him. But Damari Gray's gone off to Germany, hasn't he? And we've not seen much of him. So I'm excited to see him play. But I think DCL will suit the Benitez style. And I hope it means we'll get even more out of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. James Ward-Prowse, get him. He is a blue, even though he may not know it yet. I've been saying this for over a year now. That's from Flash the Original. You're not going to get me disagreeing. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, we don't need James or don't want James Ward-Prowse. He's a fantastic talent. I think he should have gone with the England squad instead of one of the other right backs he picked. I think Gareth Southgate should have took Ward-Prowse, especially when they lost Trent. I feel like Ward-Prowse's set pieces with Dominic Calvert-Lewin's aerial ability would have really added something. I remember the friendly, I think it was, and DCL at the bar from a Ward-Prowse cross. It seemed pretty simple to me. You've lost one person who's a set piece, specialist. Get him James Ward-Prowse. His free kicks are phenomenal. Semi Spot really think Townsend, Gray, and Begovic can do a job for us. I really don't get me wrong. I know they're not the most exciting signings in the world, and I know that it's not what everyone wanted. But but unfortunately, it is what it is. I think Townsend is a hard-working player. We've done videos on him with Back of the Nest, the Crystal Palace fan, and he said he's a hard-working lad. I'm not too keen on his TalkSport show. That can probably be curbed, but he seems like a hard-working lad, and we know what we're getting with him. Gray, I'm excited about because I feel like he's at that age where he's got to prove something to everyone. Because his career, he had a quite high-rated career, and then it sort of has dwindled. And I feel like it's a now make or break for him. He'll get the chances at us. He's got to make the most of the chances. And from what I could gather from his, interview when he joined the club, he knows that, and he will be determined to prove to everyone that he is the talent that people thought he would be. And Begovic he's a nice, reliable option. And his wife and the horse has already won over the fans on Twitter. So they're on to a winner. Eugene's put, are you going to the Everton Southampton game today? No, I'm not, unfortunately, mate. I don't have a season ticket. My parents do, and I go when they can't go. But unfortunately, they can go today, so I can't go. But yeah, when they don't, I normally go. But unfortunately, I will be missing today's game, and I am gutted about it. But I am on here till pretty much nearly kick-off, and I will be doing the post-match afterwards, so it's not all bad, and I can watch the game in full. So Townsend just semi-charged, but Townsend just needs to make peace with the crossbar. Yeah, the one on the friendly, is it Milineros? He did it. What a thunder that was, which is what he's got in his locker as well. Obviously, we know from his time at Crystal Palace, he has got it in his locker to score absolute worldies from outside the box. It's an incredible, he's got an incredible left foot on him. The only like slight worry I have is he cuts inside a lot, and I sort of think that someday that'll be caught on. But then saying that, you see so many inverted wingers nowadays, and they never get caught on about it. You see them running down, cut inside, and it sends players still. I'll never forget the day Mo Salah did it to Ashley Williams. It blows my mind how inverted wingers are still a massive threat, but it's one of them. Flash the original, well done, Connor lad. You've helped the keepers. Oh, cheers, mate. I much appreciated, Flash, and Semi-Chard. Thank you very much. Are any of you guys going to the game while we're discussing it? I know I've seen a couple of the lads from the Toffee Blues, which is why I'm on here on my own. Cal got a ticket in the family enclosure, as he was telling us the other day. I think Cal Snell's gone. And I think, I'm not too sure what James and Paul and Terry are doing, but I'm pretty sure they probably are going the game, which is good to see. But I've seen a couple of pictures on Twitter from the likes of Adam Jones, who writes for The Echo and stuff, who are there. And it looks good. It looks like Goodison's packed 2 hours before kickoff. This was when I was looking on Twitter. And it looks like it's packed. It looks like the fans are there. Can't be, but I'll be in the watch-alongs as usual. I'll be watching it along as well. Hopefully we can get a win. I was saying this to one of the lads who runs the channel today. We could really do with a good start here, which I think we'll do. But I think our next few games, if I remember rightly, I'm not going to say easy, because no game in the Premier League, I believe, is easy unless you're playing like Norwich, which I think will be. I think Norwich will struggle this season again, but I think they're not that fussed. They're just happy to be here. But I think our next couple of games are relatively, so we've got Leeds on the 21st away at Ellen Road, which, Leeds beat us last season. But hopefully, looking at Leeds now, hopefully we will beat them. Huddersfield, then we've got on the 25th in the Cup. I think we beat Huddersfield. Then we've got Brighton, Burnley, Villa and Norwich. The hardest game in there, I think, is probably Villa away. But it's yet to be seen if Villa, as much as they've done a great window, it's yet to see if they gel together. The amount of times I've heard we've won the transfer window and they don't gel. So just because Villa have won the transfer window, and yet until they play, I'm holding judgment on that. Then we've got Norwich after them. Then we've got United, which is a bit tough. But then West Ham, Watford, Wolves, who I think will be poorer this season. And then Tottenham, who, again, and then we've got City. And then we start facing some of the real boys like the Derby and Chelsea. Some of the tougher games. But I think if we can win today, win a couple of those games, we can. If we get off to a really, really good start, I think it'd be massive for momentum. I think it'd be massive for morale. I think it will help us as fans forget the summer of, well, just the summer from Ancelotti leaving to the lack of signing. I think it will help sort of coat over that a little bit. And I do think we're not done in a transfer window. I feel like we're nowhere near done. I feel like there's at least 2 players leaving. I do think one of them is going to be James Rodriguez. And I do feel like the other one is going to be Moise Keane, although apparently Inter don't want him. But I don't know why you'd do what he did with his social media if you weren't going. That, to me, is a really silly thing to do, because the fans aren't going to accept you if you're going to wipe all over your Instagram that you're off. The fans are going to really struggle to accept you. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he's going. I think James Rodriguez, unfortunately, is going to go. But hopefully we can invest that money. I feel like if that happens, we're going to end up getting Dwight McNeil and a right back of some sorts. Semi's put, one of my best mates is a Man United fan. Would like to beat them once to have a go at him. Yeah, it would be nice to beat United. The preseason doesn't fill me with confidence, which was an awful idea from everyone involved at the club. It was an awful idea, but hopefully, we can beat them. I must admit, though, United are very good this season. I don't think they'll push for the title. I don't think they're that good, but I think they're easily top 4 candidates. Beating Leeds 5-1, although saying that, the way Leeds play, they're very open, so they probably have had chances galore. But saying that, United do look a good team, and Varane's going to come in alongside Harry Maguire, and I think that's a good partnership. You've obviously got Sancho. The striker is a bit confusing. I don't know if they're going to stick with Greenwood up front all season, or if they're going to stick Rashford up there as a number 9 again, or if they're going to stick Martial there because he reckons he's a number 9, or Cavani. So it's yet to be seen what they do with the number 9 role. But the amount of quality they've got in those wide positions, you could argue they don't necessarily, they just need someone who can hold up the ball, really, in that number 9 role and play off them. But yeah, I don't think they're title contenders, though. But they are top 4 candidates, so it'd be very tough to beat them. If we do beat them, that'd be fantastic, though. It'll be shades of, is it 2 seasons ago now we beat them? Lukaku returned to Goodison Park. Fans were chanting Gary Neville had an absolute meltdown on Twitter and on social media. It was quite rude about us, actually, making it seem like United had got beat by, I don't know, like Chester City. But it'd be lovely. Fernandez is key for them. What a signing! Yeah, he is up there for one of the best signings in the last 5 years. I think before him, the team were at a loss. It's amazing what a difference one key player can make in one position, and everything at United goes through him. I must admit, though, from what I've watched before, and I'm not watching it anymore, but I'm trying to keep up to date with the scores as we go. Paul Pogba seems to have brought his Euros form with him back to United. Whether he'll stay there all season or whether he'll do his usual I want to go halfway through is yet to be seen, but Pogba seems to have brought an absolute fire with him from the Euros. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can. There's a couple of games today, obviously at the 3:00 kickoff, Chelsea as well, that are interesting. But I'm hoping we can start a real intent. Just as an update, football but constantly changing because they don't know until the squad's actually out. But they actually have got us now down as a 4-4-2, which will combat Southampton's 4-4-2. So obviously you've got Holgate at centre back, which is an interesting one. Yerry Mina is obviously on the bench. I've heard that Benitez doesn't rate Yerry Mina, but this is all speculation as well. Don't take that as gospel. I'm not saying I don't know. It's just speculation from the press on when I do the news videos. But I've heard he doesn't rate Yerry Mina. I personally do really rate him. I think he's one of our better centre-backs. And the Mason Holgate thing is a little worry, especially in a 2, because him and Michael Keane have got to stay there now. Not one of them can't go wandering off because it'll leave us very open at the back. And with a 2, Holgate's got to make sure his concentration levels are really high, because if he falls asleep, lapse of judgment, lapse of concentration, we could be punished. But we've got Decore and Allen as well in the 2 centre mids. I think that's a great partnership. Decore apparently said that he's going to have a more attacking influence this season. I'd like to see that. He's certainly a midfielder who can chip in with a couple of goals. Allen, I really like Allen. I think he's a fantastic player. Really loves a tackle. His socks and the way he has he's a great player. I really liked him before he came to us. Was very happy when we signed him. And obviously we've got Townsend and Gray on the wings. Townsend not so much, but Damari Gray will be absolutely rapid on that left-hand side. And apparently it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front. This has got to be said. Richarlison as well, like applauds all round. He's gone from the season straight into the Copa America, straight into the Olympics. He won gold at the Olympics. I think he was their top goal scorer as well. And now he's straight back first game of the season. I hope we manage him a little bit better in terms of avoiding an injury, though, because obviously at some point his body is going to catch up with him a little bit. But he seems happy to play. He said in an interview he was very privileged to be in the position he's in, and he'll rest when he's retired, which is a great attitude to have. You can't knock the lad's professional attitude, I don't think. And it's mental that he's playing up front for us today. Hopefully he does well. I know the position of Richarlison has always been one, hasn't it, that people talk about. Is he a left winger? Is he an inside forward? Is he a striker? Apparently he thinks he's a striker. I think personally, alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he is a good striker just because you've got someone who can hold up the ball and he'll run in between. I think he just play anywhere. I think he can play anywhere and do an all right job. Obviously, when he was at left wing, his defensive work is very good. So obviously he helps Luka Dean out a bit because his defensive track backing as a winger is very good. Semi's put Allen as a pit bull in the middle of the park. Yeah, that's why I like him as well. He's just constant. He just nips at the midfielder's heels, and he is a bit rough and he is a bit known for a couple of tasty challenges. But I really like that. I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. I really like how on people he is. It's the reason I like Godfrey as well. That Godfrey slide tackle he's known for. I'm gutted we won't be seeing that today because Godfrey's slide tackles are unreal. Also, Semi's put Richie to score in this one, can sense it. I hope so. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will get a goal, and I think Richarlison could. As soon as Dominic Calvert-Lewin holds the ball up, I think Richarlison will be cutting straight through the two centre-backs. And I think he's going to cause a lot of trouble. And he's coming off an incredible high. I don't think you could get any higher, can you? Unless he'd won the Copa America. But he's coming off a fantastic run. F1 in football with Gabriel has put, come on. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully it's a win today. And hopefully it's a win for the next couple. I read out before the next couple of games. Without saying, again, I don't want to say every game is an easy game in the Premier League, but they are favourable fixtures, favourable for us, and I think we could end up. Going on a good run, and I think that's what we need. We need a nice, good little run to get us sort of in the mood. But yeah, I mean, looking at it now as well, I've also managed to find some of Southampton's last games, because obviously we will probably know, I assume you will all know our pre-season results and the back end of last season. But FootMob have got, what I can gather here, most of their... So I won't go off last season because last season's last season. They beat Cardiff 4-0 in a friendly. They beat Swansea City in a friendly. They beat Levante in a friendly. But then they lost to Athletic Bilbao 3-1. Which is, it's decent. Kyle Walker-Peters has scored a couple for them in their friendlies, and a couple of others have as well. Adam Armstrong's debut today, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Hopefully he has a rubbish game, because obviously it's against us, so we don't want him to have a good game. So that'd be nice, wouldn't it, if he could have an absolute stinker? And I think he will have to adjust to the Premier League. I don't think it's exactly the same as the Championship. I think it's easier to come from than Foreign League, but I think he'll still struggle to adapt. Theo Walcott got one in the Athletic game. Obviously, we've already spoke about Theo Walcott. It's sort of, that's the one that worries me because I think it's written in the stars. It's so Everton for Theo Walcott to score. It's just so Everton. But we know what we get from Theo Walcott. He's fast, so you can't let him have space behind. Um, but we also know his negatives. I mean, that's one of his positives, and I think his pace is sort of, he's not as fast as he used to be, but he's still very quick. I think he could, if we're not careful, he could really leave some of our players, in the smoke. But you could argue his finishing isn't as good. His end product is lacking a little bit, I thought, when he played for us. He was a good player, but I think his end product was a bit, meh, I'm going to say. Arsenal played him up front and it didn't work, and he thought that was his natural position. And then we bought, I don't know, I still can't believe we got him, but we got him. But looking at comments now, Shade Mr. Joe. Hi, mate. Welcome to the stream. This is a favourable first game to get us started off on right. That's come from Semi-Charred Life. Yeah, I agree, mate. I don't think there's many other teams that we would have liked to play, like that I think we could have liked to play. Maybe Norwich. But then I'm only saying this because of how they were last time they were in the Premier League. But they might have improved, and you won't know that till they play their first game. So maybe we don't want. Look at Brentford, Arsenal. There was, people were like, I wonder how Brentford are going to do. You don't want that to happen to us. We don't want to play Norwich and think, it'll be the Norwich that was in the Premier League 2 seasons ago, and then they surprise us and there's a banana slip there. Not that I'm saying we would, but, you just don't want to run that risk. Whereas we know Southampton, and I think it is fair to say they're missing some big names. Danny Ings is an obvious one, but Vestergaard, I can't believe they let Vestergaard go. That shocked me quite a bit, just because of his pure size, his aerial ability. Semi's put Walcott's got pace, but we know his final ball is woeful. Yeah, exactly. His end product is just below par. It's just not very good. And a lot of times last season, when he was not last season, the season before, when he was playing for us, I watched him and I was just like, sometimes I think he does what a couple of players have done. I know James on the channel says this a bit, but he runs into cul-de-sacs, turns around and sort of, I don't think sometimes I think he runs himself into corners and then is a little bit unsure on what he next needs to do to get out of them. Dan Brown's put, come on, you Blues, up the Toffees. I completely agree, mate. Let's get it off with a big win today. Come on. Mr. Austin's put, Walcott was amazing in his prime. For Arsenal, he did. I feel like we brought him, though, on the back end of his career, and it's just not worked. It's an example of why we're in such dire straits with FFP, though. It's, again, offering nice contracts to older players on the back end of their career, sort of thing. He did do well from Arsenal in the wings. I don't think he did as well as people thought, or he thought he would, when they stuck him up front. Because I remember he had one game he did well, and people were comparing him to Thierry Henry, which was a bit because he'd come from the wing up front. I saw a couple of Arsenal fans do it. This was like 5-10 years ago, and that was a bit silly. But he did play well for Arsenal. He obviously has some moments where Arsenal fans will adhere him. The derby where he stretched it off and he did this. Obviously, he's well remembered for that as well. But in terms of his Everton career, I feel like he's one that fans will not. I don't even think remember in 5 years. I think people will be like, "Oh yeah, Theo Walcott. God, I forgot he played for us," because it's just not been very good for us for whatever reason. But I think Southampton is a good club for him to go back to. Obviously, it's the club he started at. He will obviously get games there as well. He'll be a first-team player for them. So I think Southampton when I saw that he was going back there, that made a lot of sense, in my opinion anyway. You guys might disagree, but I thought it made a lot of sense for him to go back to Southampton. But yeah, I'm excited to see the kit as well today. I'm excited to see the build-up to Zedcast, to Goodison packed out. I think the atmosphere today will be really good. I don't know if any of you guys watched the Brentford-Arsenal game last night, but Brentford's ground has been built to keep the atmosphere in, and the fans were so loud. I think the cameras that Sky were using were obviously ones they were still using. I don't think anyone, after 18 months of no fans, I think we forgot, well, I certainly did, I forgot how loud fans can be in a stadium. And the scenes last night were brilliant. And I think Goodison Park will be absolutely rapturous. It'll be so loud. It'll be really, really good. I'm excited to see it, especially if we get a goal. If we win, it'd be massive. Semi-child life. What's my prediction for today's game? 2-0, mate. To Everton, obviously. I think we are significantly better. I know we're missing a couple of players in the lineup. James Rodriguez. But from what the news says, he might not be around for the season, so we should probably get used to maybe not having him. I know we're missing Moise Keane, Andre Gomez, and a couple of others. But personally, I don't think a lot of the players that we're missing would have played. I don't think Andre Gomez would have played. I think he'd have still gone with Decore and Allen. I don't think Moise Keane would have played. James Rodriguez, maybe he would have played. I don't know. Because I'm not Benitez, but the rumours say that he doesn't like him. So maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. I couldn't comment on that. I can't comment on that because I don't know him. And I think the other one, Godfrey, I'd have loved to see Godfrey play. I genuinely thought he was going to play Mina and Keane because that was our main two, last season. Very surprised he didn't. But Godfrey, I would have liked to see. But yeah, like I said, I don't think he would have played Godfrey though. So a lot of the lads we're missing, I don't think would have played. But we've still got a very good squad. And the lineup today, I think it's a very good lineup. Even with the lack of signings, we've not lost anyone significant from last season, which is a positive. It's nice to see that we've not lost anyone. And I think the players we've got are just very good. Reliable. I think Damari Gray will be interesting to see. Townsend, we know, is a good Premier League player. I'm not going to say he's not going to set the world light, but he's good. He's a good utility player. He's a useful player. And obviously we've got DCL and Richarlison, and I think they'll get the goals. I think it'll be 2-0 to us coming from both of them men, which I'll be excited to see. I really do want Richarlison to score. I think the high he's on at the minute, it will send the crowd into a frenzy. It'll be interesting to see. The one thing I will say is it'll be interesting to see the atmosphere in terms of it's Benitez's first game at home. It'll be interesting to see what the atmosphere is. Be interesting to see if he comes out, he's introduced, he waves, or if Everton just goes straight into here's the team, the game. It'll be interesting, like an unveiling type thing. I don't think they will. I think they'll just go straight into the game. But it'll be interesting to see the whole of that. I think people will forget it though because it's 18 months without football. I think people will just be happy to be back. To be completely honest with you, which is what I'm hoping anyway. Inky Squid 4, nice to see you back, mate. Who do you think will score the goal for us? Obviously, Inky says 1-0 to us. He's also put, how close are we to that 24-year-old right back? Are you on about, is it Buta from Anderlecht? Is it? Or is it another, you're on about Aurelio Buta by any chance? Because we're linked with a couple. We're linked with Jorge Sanchez as well, aren't we? From Club America in Mexico. Who's also been at the Olympics. I think you are on about Buta. He's 24. I've not heard anything since the one from the Bundesliga. I think that might be a rumor I've not seen, mate. Do you have his name by any chance? I know we were linked with Buta, but I've not done the news videos for a bit, so I don't know as much of the transfer gossip as I normally do because I've not done the news videos for a little bit. So if you got his name, I'll. But the Buta one, I've heard it's gone a bit quiet. I've heard Celtic are looking at him now, and Celtic are the one we're going to be battling if we do go down that route. Which, I mean, I know he's not Denzel Dumfries, which is what I wanted and what I think a lot of us wanted. But I feel like we're going to get one right back that we will. That will do for now, and I think next season. I was saying this to my dad the other day. I think this season we're going to see us sort of do the best we can, but sort of get signings we need at the least. At the most, so a right back as a backup, And then sort of after that, I think next season we're going to spend big. I think we're going to take advantage of having no money this season and just go mad next season. So, any player we sign now, I don't think he's going to be first team as much as next. Semi-Charles put we're linked with Trippier. Sorry about that. Yeah, we are linked with Trippier as well. Apparently United were interested in him, which I'm not too sure why. I know Wan-Bissaka is not the best going forward, but I actually really rate him as a defensive, as a right back. And I think going forward, he will get better as he gets older. But I think he's a really good right back, so I don't know why United would want off. But it's one of them, isn't it? Trippier, I wouldn't mind. His delivery is very good. He's not a player I assume with rapid pace. I associate with rapid pace, sorry. But his delivery is very, very good. And he's younger than Seamus, and we need legs there. Master Uguay has put 15-0 to the Toffees in it. I mean, Southampton have lost 9-0 before now. Obviously, Inky Squids, but obviously we're putting 9 past the Saints this time. Yeah, they have lost. They have lost with 9-0 losses before now, which is the problem with Hasenhutl's style of play. It's very pressing. It's very high line of engagement, high defensive line, and it can be caught if he doesn't have the players to suit the system. And at Southampton, I don't think he has the money or the players to suit his system perfectly. I don't think we are going to score 15, though. It'd be lovely, though. That would be, well, I mean, that would just, the goal difference alone would help us out massively as the league went on, wouldn't it? But we'll have to wait and see. I'm very, very interested to see us play. I'm looking now at the right back, trying to find the right back rumours. We're linked with a couple. A lot of them. I know that Jorge Sanchez has gone quiet very, very recently. It'd be interesting to see how Seamus Coleman plays. I feel like that's the other thing the club are waiting for. They're waiting to see how well he does or doesn't do. And we've got John Joe Kenny, who I'm not completely convinced on, but it's one of them. Another rumour I noticed the other day, though, moving while I look for the right back, breaking Everton places $7 million bid for Zakaria. That would be fantastic. That's come from Inky Squad 4. That would be unreal. Zakaria, I really like. I don't know where that would leave Allen and Decore because he's another centre mid. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he moves Decore, plays a 4-3-3. Maybe. But I mean, I'd happily have Zakaria. I think he's a very good player. 7 million seems very cheap for him, though. Very cheap indeed. Apologies, lads. I've made a mistake of not having a drink before I came on. So apologies for that. Inky's put, I couldn't be bothered to look at the other tab to check the spelling. Oh, don't worry, mate. I know who you're on about, and I know the team. The team's a bit of a mouthful and a typing, brush. Mönchengladbach's a bit of an handful. But according to the BBC and HITC, that's massive, that is, if that's true. If they accept the 7 million, I was gonna say, Inky, are you winding us up like Semi said, because that seems incredibly cheap. That seems incredibly cheap for a very good midfielder. No, to be fair, he said, well, if that's the case, obviously they've got to accept that. But if they accept the £7 million bid, that's very good business. This is where I sort of wish we weren't strained by financial fair play, because I feel like teams are looking to sell good players to get any bit of money they can. And we could have really took advantage. I'm thinking, Leon Bailey. But Zakaria for 7 million is very good. And I have heard the rumours that apparently we do have money, but it's for certain areas. So, like, obviously a young right winger we're looking for. Dwight McNeil, apparently we've got the money for if needs be. But Zakaria would be absolutely fantastic. Everton Jay's put, what are you watching the game on? I'll be watching it downstairs, mate, on my telly. I'll obviously leave, probably end the stream just before, a couple of minutes before, so I can go down, get ready, and all you guys obviously will be watching it, so you can go get ready. But I'll be watching it downstairs on my own. My parents are at the game, so I'll be watching it on my own. but I'm looking forward to it, mate. I've got positive thoughts, really positive thoughts for today's game. And then I'm obviously doing the post-match stream as well on the Toffee Blues at 5 to 5, I think it is, that we scheduled it for. Talking about everything that happened in between, I'll be sat downstairs with a notepad taking notes on key stuff, players I think played well, how the formation did, the tactics. So it should be, the second stream should be it'd be an insight into my footballing brain a little bit, or lack of, depending on your views on it. But no, I'll be watching it with a close eye and hopefully cheering on some goals. If we're anything like Master Uge put, I'll be celebrating 15 goals. So more. Inky's put more. He said the Mirror reported it as well. R2 Trappy's put, come on Everton. I agree, mate. Let's have them today. I'm not kidding. I mean, that's let's be real. The BBC and HITC are both reliable as a rover. Yeah. Inky, I agree. The BBC are quite reliable. That's amazing. I don't know why if that's happened right now, I'm a bit confused on why we're doing it 20 minutes before kickoff. But that is amazing. I've got to go now. See you later, Inky, mate. Thanks for the information. It's much appreciated. So Sakaria, guys, would be absolutely fantastic for us. I mean, that'll be incredible. I know we're linked with Andres Pereira as well from Manchester United. It's not a signing that I'm thrilled with to be linked with, but if it's on loan, I guess there's worse players, on loan. You could go for. I don't want us to buy him outright with money. I don't think I've seen enough of him to convince me that that's what I want. Everton, Jay. I'm watching downstairs, mate, with my family, but not with my family on my own, but at my family home, I meant. But you can watch. You can watch it on Sky. If you're asking how you can watch it on Sky or I don't know. Is it on? There will be other means of watching it as well. I'm not gonna, but there are other means. If you look on the internet, you'll find ways of watching it as well. Yeah, Sammy, mate, it is tough. It's tough. They're like, to be fair, whenever they can't go to game, I get their season tickets. So, I mean, there are silver linings to that. And at the minute, I'm sort of open to save up to move out. So, season tickets for myself are sort of on the back burner. But it's it's not the worst thing to happen. I get to go to games when they can't. Thomas Robertson's put, afternoon, everyone. You're right, Thomas. Nice to see you, mate. Everton J's put, can you only watch if you have a season ticket? The Sky aren't showing it. No, I mean, there will be, if you go on the internet and Google it, there will be certain ways to watch it on the internet. Certain streams will be showing it, I believe, probably. And stuff like that. I'm sure you can find a way. If Sky aren't showing it, then I'm not too sure how I'm going to be watching it downstairs. But yeah, NBC for the Toffees in the States. You can find websites, I think, that will stream NBC over here. So if that is what you wanted to do, you would probably find it. What do you think of our first 11? Liam, I really like. For what we've got in the squad, I think it's our strongest 11. Bar James Rodriguez, but apparently he's has to isolate because of COVID. Other than that, the 5 players I don't think we would have played. I think swap Holgate for Mina. I would have liked to see Eddie Mina play, or Godfrey in that place. But apparently Godfrey's also one of the players that has to isolate apparently. So that explains maybe why he's not there. But I would have liked to see Yerry Mina play there personally, but apparently he's not. Benitez is number 1 centre-back. So it'll be interesting to see how Mason Holgate does. I think the 2 midfielders are very good, Alan Decore. I'm interested to see how Damari Gray plays. And I think the 2 up top, DCL and Richarlison's very, very good. I think our bench is a little bit worrying when you look at it. You can see why we still need to do some signings. We've got Alex Iwobi, Anthony Gordon, and Broadhead, who I'd like to see maybe get some game time if we're winning. Bring them on, especially Broadhead. He's had a good pre-season. You got Delph, and the less said about Delph is the better. Tom Davis, Jarrod Branthwaite, Kenny and Mina. And then obviously you got Asmir Begovic. At least we don't have two keepers on the bench like we were rocking last year for a large part. Silver linings. But I think it's one of the strongest ones we could offer right now with the squad we've got. I think it's still glaringly obvious we need to make some signings, don't we? But one of them, isn't it? R2 Trappies put 2-0 to Everton. Yeah, that's mine as well, mate. I think DCL and Richarlison will score. Joey 11 has put bye. Come on, you Blues. See you later, mate. Fingers crossed. Come on, you Blues. Semi Charles put Mina and Godfrey over Keane and Holgate. Yeah, I would prefer Mina and Godfrey. I think they're a good combination as well. You've got the one centre back who's towering, a little bit slower, but is an aerial threat and presence. And then you've got the younger, faster one who can do the leg work for him, can chase the runs. I think that would be my favourite combination as well. And I think Ben Godfrey's absolutely amazing. I think it's the slide tackle he does every game is fantastic. Liam's put, glad we aren't playing Iwobi. Yeah, Everton J, see you later, mate. Up the Toffees, thanks for joining the stream. I think I'm sort of glad that we're playing Damari Gray and Townsend. I think we'll get better out of them. Semi's put embarrassing. Delph still wearing the Everton shirt. I said this on the channel a couple of times. I don't think we're going to get rid of him. I think he's going to stay and run down his contract with us, unfortunately, because he's one of the players that you'd happily ship off. And Liam's put our bench is worrying. Agreed. Yeah, it is a little bit worrying. Hopefully we won't need it today, because Southampton's bench is equally as unimpressive. They've got better, more household names at Southampton. So Redmond's on the bench, for example. But there's no one on that bench that I think if they bring on, he's going to, not like United do, like I've said, it was chilling with Sancho on the bench today. That's a danger sub to bring on. I don't think they have anyone that is a danger sub. Just before because we're going to wrap up in the next 5, I reckon, just so everyone's got time to, go watch the game, which is what a lot of you are doing now. If I could just ask you all, guys, if you want to like the stream as well, show some support for the channel on the Toffee Blues. It really helps us out, and we really appreciate the support. So if you could drop a like while you're at it, guys, that'd be fantastic. Terry Nash has put, would love to see Shabamin and Godfrey's mobility today. With the pace of Southampton, probably would have started Mina as well. Yeah, I would have started Yerry Mina, mate. I would have started Godfrey as well. Obviously, Shabamin is one of the people not on the bench. I don't know if that's COVID. I don't know why the reasons for that is. Apparently, FootMob have got him as a knock and doubtful. But they've got Andre Gomez, Moise Keane and Rodriguez as well as all the same. And they are players that I've heard might be isolating. So maybe Shabamin's isolating. I hope it's just an isolation because I really want the guy to do well, to be honest. Aaron P, where can we watch the game? And Kieran wants to go. So what channel is on? What can I watch it on? Apparently it's not on Sky, guys. But if you... I don't want to advocate this, but if you Google Everton versus I forgot, we're playing Southampton on the internet, you will find means of watching it. Shabamin got hurt while isolated. Do you know what, Joe Raider, mate? I would not be surprised by that at all. That would not shock me, mate, in all honesty. I hope it doesn't happen, though, because I think he's going to feel like a brand new signing. Shabamin, I'm really excited for. I know he's done well in pre-season. I know some people say it's pre-season. He was doing it against, behind closed doors at Finch Farm. But he's had a good pre-season. And he will feel like a new signing. I feel like I've never seen someone with such poor luck. He plays, gets injured, comes back, gets injured, and both very long-term injuries. You really couldn't write it. Shabamin, he's a quality player when he's healthy. Yeah, he looks to be. Mainz fans really liked him, and he did well at Mainz. And he did well in that African Cup of Nations just before it, which is why I think he got injured. He played a lot of games, played the AFCON Cup, and then came back and got injured. Yeah, guys, if you are wondering where to watch it, Semi has put comments in the chat to read. If you do that, that's your business. we're not advocating, but your business is your business. But yeah, guys, I think we will probably. I'll have a look now to see if there's anything else breaking. The Zakaria news coming out on the stream from Inky there, which I'm going to have a look at now. But if that's true, that's fantastic news to break as well just now. I'm a little bit confused on why we're bidding for players just before kickoff, but that would be massive for £7 million. Which, if any of you guys, because there's obviously a number of you have come in now, Zakaria for £7 million would be an absolute steal, in my opinion. Joe Raiders put Gray as a big signing. Yeah, I think because of the fee, how little the fee was, and the fact that he's not had the best time since he went to Leicester and left Leicester. I feel like he's going under the radar. I think he's one that will surprise us this season. I've got him down as my surprise. Just because I feel like, just because of how cheap it was, there's not much expectation on him. But I feel like he can really surprise us. I feel like he's one of those players that we're going to be like at the end of the season. Really did well. And for the money we bought him for, if he's not a success, there's not a lot lost, is there? I'm sort of happy that if we spend a little and they don't go well, okay. As long as you don't give them big wages, it's one of them. We can move on, and that's fine. But for how little money we spent on him, I think he's going to surprise us this season. I think he's going to be a good player. Bills, Benitez, bargain, basement, Blues. It is. They are bargain prices, but it's yet to be. That's from Bob Reed, but it is yet to be seen whether they're successful or not. Cheap doesn't necessarily mean rubbish. We could. I think Damari Gray is going to shock us. I think he's going to be a good surprise for us. Semi said he'd snatch your hand off at that price, and Joe's put that he tore the Premier apart 2.5 seasons ago. Yeah, he did have a lot of, when he came in, he had a lot of buzz about him. He was, he was highly rated. He was very highly rated, which is why Leicester picked him up. If he can find any of that form again and unlock his potential, we'll be looking back on his transfer going, that was a really clever buy from us. EFC Days put fake news, Everton have not. Yeah, I tried to find it on BBC, and I don't know where Inky's got it from, but I can't find on the BBC sport website that we've made a bid for Zakaria. I know we're linked with him, but I've not seen anything about bids being made. 7 million seems a bit too cheap as well, if you ask me, for a player of that standard. So we'll have to, maybe we're going to make a bid. Maybe that's what he read. I don't know. But as of late, Everton haven't made a bid for him. Hopefully we do, though, because I really rate him as a player. I don't know where that leaves Alan and Decore in our midfield. Yes, I mean, he has. He's come in. He's done us all. We've all been had, and then he's left. When he said BBC, we probably should have said, send the link in the chat. Joe Raiders put, we need a right back. I completely agree, mate. We're after that Aurelio. That's a butcher of his first name, but Buta from Belgium. Again, I think he's going to cost us 3 million, so it is quite budget buys this season. But like I said, I think we're going to do that for this season, and the next season we're going to go, right, we had to save money last season. Let's go spend like madmen. So next summer, I know it's a bit of a grim thing to say because it's 12 months away, but next summer Blues, big up. Jerry's put Gray, Townsend, Balassi and Bernard. I agree. I agree. I'm gutted Bernard didn't work out because I thought we got a bit of a steal when we signed him. But I mean, he's good in bits. His first touch was good, but I don't think he's shot enough for me either. Why is Holgate starting from Bob Reed? I don't know, mate. I've said I'd prefer Yerry Mina, but apparently I don't know if he's Benitez's favourite. Apparently, this is all speculation, so don't take what I say as gospel because it's all from the paper talk. But apparently Benitez isn't a massive fan of Yerry Mina. Whether there's any truth in that, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see how Aldgate does. He can't lapse concentration if he's going to play in a two at the back, two centre-back formation. Joe's put, why not get a guy on loan? Yeah, apparently we're after a couple of players on loan. I know we're after Pereira, Andres Pereira from United. I wouldn't mind a couple of loans with an option to buy. I think we've got to put in an option to buy, though, because loans work out for us, a lot of loans. Gomez, obviously, when he came on loan was good. Kurt Zuma. There have been a couple of loans in our history that have done well. Lukaku was on loan, obviously. But I think we've got to put an option to buy, because I think otherwise we're going to end up paying a lot of money for someone. He's put Benitez isn't going to like Yerry Mina. That's a big shame for me, that, because I really like him. I think he's very good. I think he's a good character in the dressing room as well, which I know isn't always something, but it is. He gets on with a lot of the lads, and he seems like a happy guy, and he seems like he enjoys being at the club. Dest would be a sweet loan target. Yeah, Joe, I'd like to see Serginho Dest, try him out on loan. If it doesn't work out, you can always send him back. Don't know if anyone saw it, but Lionel Messi's farewell, Serginho Dest was in shorts and a basketball jersey, and everyone else was in suits, which was quite funny to see. Yeah, guys, I think we're probably going to wrap it up here, though, just because we're about to go to kick-off. Whether you're watching or listening, you can listen to it, obviously, on the radio as well. Whether you're watching or listening or just keeping an eye on the BBC score, hopefully we can get off to a big win against Southampton and really push on for this season. Don't forget to like this stream as well, guys. Show some support for the channel. We really do appreciate it. I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat as well, who's been interacting. You've been absolutely fantastic. I will be on later for the post-match analysis, so I hopefully have a little bit more for you there. Come on, you Blues, up the Toffees. Hopefully we can get off to a good start, and I'll see you guys soon.